Hello and welcome to aptdemy. My name is Yoshi and I will be your English professor for the IELTS course. The International English Language Testing System is what IELTS stands for, which is the world's most popular English language proficiency test, which tests your ability to communicate in English. So what that means is that it assesses all of your English skills like reading, writing, listening and speaking, and is designed to reflect how you will use English at study, work or at play. It is the most widely accepted English language test that uses a one-on-one speaking test to assess your English communication skills. Now, IELTS is of two types. The first is the academic for students who are going abroad for further studies, and the second is the IELTS general training for workers who are going abroad for work opportunities. So for now, in aptdemy, we are only focusing on the academic part. So that is what we are going to talk about today. It is a truly global test. It is trusted by over 10,000 organizations, including universities, professional bodies, employers, and migration authorities. It is an English language test that is accepted by all of key immigration authorities in places like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom for visa applications and migration purposes. How will you be scored? You can be confident that your IELTS score is a true reflection of your English language proficiency. Examiners use detailed assessment criteria when they mark your test. Now the scoring is of a band system. What that means is there will be a 1 to 9 band score. You will be given a score of 1 to 9 for each part of the test: listening, reading, writing and speaking. The average of those scores will be your overall band score. You can score either a whole like 5.0 or 6.0, or a half band, which is 5.5, 6.5, something like that in each part of the test. Now these are all the band scores, these are the skill levels, and these are what it means. So for example, if a student gets a band score of 9, the skill level will be that of an expert user. What does that mean? That means that you have a full operational command of the language. Your use of English is appropriate, accurate and fluent, and you show complete understanding. A student who gets a band score of 8 means that their skill level is of a very good user, which means again that you have a full operational command of the language with only occasional unsystematic inaccuracies and inappropriate usage. You may misunderstand some things in unfamiliar situations. You handle complex, detailed argumentation well. Band 7 is of the skill level good user. You have an operational command of the language, though with occasional inaccuracies, inappropriate usage and misunderstandings in some situation. Generally, you handle complex language well and understand detailed reasoning. Just like that, we have all the skill levels and description of all the band scores that you can get from band score 9 to band score 0. For somebody to get a band score 0, that means that the student has most likely not attempted the test. Now we're done with the scoring. Now comes the sections of the IELTS. So the first section that you see is the IELTS listening test, where you will have to listen to 4 audio files on which you will be asked questions. So these recordings can be of a conversation between two people set in an everyday social context. The second recording may be a monologue set in an everyday social context, like a speech about local facilities. Recording 3 might be a conversation between up to 4 people set in an educational or training context. Maybe a university tutor and a student discussing an assignment. And recording 4 might be a monologue on an academic subject like a university lecture. So the format is you will get all these 4 audio files, and the timing will be approximately 30 minutes to listen and answer the questions, and 10 minutes to transfer your answers from the question booklet to your answer sheet. So that's a total of 40 minutes. And the number of questions is 40 questions, so 10 questions per audio file. Task type or the types of questions that will be asked will be A variety of question types like matching, plan, map, diagram, labeling, form or flowchart, summary completion, sentence completion, etc. Marks: each correct answer receives 1 mark. Scores out of 40 are then converted to the IELTS band system. So you might get a band score anywhere between 1 to 9, and scores are reported in whole and half band. So that's your overall score for that section. Now the second section is the IELTS reading test. You will have to read 3 passages and respond to related questions in your IELTS reading test. And the content will be different for the ones who are giving the academic and the ones who are giving the general. But again, since we are only focusing on the academic, so we are going to talk about that. So the format is 3 long texts which range from descriptive and factual to the discursive and analytical. These will be taken from books, journals, magazines or newspapers, and they will have been selected for a non-specialist audience but are appropriate for people entering university courses or seeking professional registration. Timing. Now timing, you have to understand that it is 60 minutes including the transfer time. So what does that mean? 60 minutes overall. Within that 1 hour time frame, you need to read the 3 passages, you need to answer the questions that come along with it, and you need to transfer the answers from the question booklet to your answer sheet. Everything will have to be done within the time frame of 1 hour. Number of questions that you will get for all the passages: 40 questions. Task types or types of questions that will be asked will be fill in the gaps, match headings to written passages or diagrams or charts, complete sentences, give short answers to open questions, or multiple choice questions or MCQ. Marking is the same again. Each correct answer receives 1 mark. Scores out of 40 will be converted to the band scale, and that will be reported in either whole or half band for that section. Now next is the IELTS writing test. It is designed to assess a wide range of writing skills, including how well you write a response appropriately, organize your ideas, and use a range of vocabulary and grammar accurately. So the format here is write in a formal style in the IELTS academic test. There will be 2 tasks given. In task 1, you will be presented with a graph, table, chart or diagram. You will be asked to describe or summarize or explain the information in your own words. So this might involve describing, explaining data, describing the stages of a process or how something works. And in task 2, you will be asked to write an essay in response to a point of view. So they might give you something, they will give you an argument or a problem or a point of view, and you have to write a response to that. Timing will be 60 minutes. Spend 20 minutes on task 1 and 40 minutes on task 2. You will need to manage your own time, so make sure that you move on to task 2 after exactly 20 minutes. Don't take more than 20 minutes, because in scoring you will see that they give more preference to task 2. So task 2 holds more marks. So if on task 1 you spend more time, you will have less time to complete your task 2, which holds more marks. So you will be missing out on a lot of marks. Now number of questions too, like I told you, there are 2 tasks. Task types will be task 1, task 2. You will be asked to write at least 150 words for task 1 and at least 250 words for task 2. Marking: your writing test will be marked by a certified IELTS examiner. Task 2 is worth twice as much as task 1 in the IELTS writing test. Scores are reported in whole and half bands. So since task 2 is worth twice as much, that is why you need to see that you are finishing the first task within 20 minutes. Now the last section is the IELTS speaking test. Now this will have a certified examiner testing you. There will be an interactive one-on-one test here. A variety of accents may be used and the test will be recorded. So why do you take the speaking test? The speaking test is taken to understand your skills. Like, the examiner would want to see how well you can communicate opinions and information on everyday topics and common experiences. They will see that whether you can speak at length on a given topic or not, whether you can use appropriate grammar while speaking, appropriate language while speaking, whether you can organize your ideas coherently, express and justify your opinions, analyze, discuss and speculate about issues. So make sure while you are giving this test, you are relaxed and you talk fluently. You will have to be quite natural in this test. Now, so the format for the speaking test is part 1. The examiner will introduce him or herself and ask you to introduce yourself and confirm your identity, which is fairly easy. The examiner will ask you general questions on familiar topics like something anywhere ranging from home, family, work, studies, interest. So this section should help you relax and talk naturally. So this is where you build rapport with your test, with the one who's taking the test. Now part 2, the examiner will give you a task card which will ask you to talk about a particular topic, including points to include in your topic. So they will give you a topic and they will ask you to jot down some points on which you will be asked to talk later. So you will be asked to talk for 1 or 2 minutes on that topic. You will not be interrupted during this time. So it is important to keep talking. The examiner will then ask you 1 or 2 questions on the same topic. And part 3 is the examiner will ask you further questions. So these are all the parts of the speaking test. So part 1, you introduce yourself, the examiner introduces himself or herself, you introduce yourself, you build rapport. Second part, they give you a topic, you write down points, you speak on it for 1 or 2 minutes. And the third part is where the examiner asks you further questions on what you have just spoken about. The timing is 11 to 14 minutes and marks is you will be assessed on your performance throughout the test by certificated IELTS examiners. You will be marked on the 4 criteria: fluency, coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy and pronunciation. Scores are reported in whole and half bands. So those are all the 4 sections of the IELTS course, and that is all you need to know about the overview of the course. I will meet you in the following sessions where we talk in depth and brief about all the topics and where we solve live examples in the class. Thank you.